Okay, let's talk about a higher goal. You know, one of the things that I'm working with, all of you that I'm coaching, and the ones that I've had meetings with so far, there's several of you that we still need to schedule our appointments and have this conversation, but what is your goal for 2012? As we saw today, there were several people that set some pretty aggressive goals that had surpassed where they were last year. Some of those actually received awards, but there were several that surpassed where they were the year before by setting those goals. One of the things that is very important when it comes to setting goals is a tangible goal. So one that's a stretch, that takes you beyond where you already are, but that you have a sense, you have a strategy, you have a support group, what have you, that will encourage you and help you to get there. So it's important as humans, and I'm doing a lot of studying on the human psychology when it comes to willpower and discipline and accomplishing what it is we seek and want for ourselves. It's important that we have goals that we can attain. All right? But here's the other thing, though. If you've ever experienced this, once you've attained a goal, is it ever enough? No, there's always a sense of wanting more, needing more. There's that momentary celebration, whatever that may look like. But there's that opportunity where you start celebrating. But then, once that wears off, maybe a few hours, maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks, depending on what the goal is, there's this sense of needing something more. So there's an emptiness related with this. And one of the reasons we set goals, if we start to look at our big why, is there's a desire to find some sense of fulfillment. The irony is, when we set these attainable goals, though, once we reach them, we have a moment of fulfillment, but then we move from fulfillment to a sense of lack again. And so the truth is, while we set goals for fulfillment, we actually miss the target. Isn't that interesting? But yet we keep doing this, and in our culture, it's very much driven towards monetary goals, things, and all of those things, which once again, you get the thing, you get the money, you get the relationship, whatever that case may be, there's a sense of momentary pause and then emptiness, and the fulfillment seems to be lacking. How do you actually get or set a target that speaks to fulfillment? And that is a higher, spell it right now, goal or ideal. This is one that is unattainable. Now, typically, when we set unattainable goals, they're very discouraging for us. And most of that is because we don't really understand the nature of unattainable goals. And when I say an unattainable goal, it is not one that you would necessarily put in this category at a larger level. So it's not where maybe 150,000 in gross commission income or 250,000 sits here where the unattainable is 2 million. That's not what an unattainable goal is. This is usually something, in many instances, that has something to do with you. Something that means something to you. It's a destination, an experience for you. So it's very self-motivated, and in most instances, self-focused. I'm not suggesting that's wrong or right. Some people do have external focuses. They want to make certain amounts of money in order to help or do certain things for others. If you look, though, at who you're helping, maybe family, maybe children, maybe charities that mean something to you, again, they mean something to you. They're still come back to you and somehow are tied to you. Again, that's fine. But in order to set an unattainable goal, which I'll call the higher goal, the higher ideal, it's got to be something that is far greater than you and serves a far greater community or world, so to speak, than you. Gandhi is a perfect example of this. Someone who was looking to accomplish some amazing, amazing things, and there was no path that was obvious as to how he would actually accomplish that. And even though he did many, many great things, by the time he left the planet, there were still many things that needed to be done with respect to India and the relationship with the British, and even the respect to the relationship of the untouchables and those that have and the have-nots, right? So there was much that he visioned and wanted in terms of a higher ideal that he never, ever got to see. In fact, what he did see as successes never even registered on the scale of what he was really shooting for. So if he was looking to celebrate, he never even got an opportunity to celebrate, if you think about it. Because what he wanted, and the transformation that he wanted, was for an entire country to shift into a place that was far beyond anything they'd experienced, where everybody was treated with dignity, with respect, and the lowest person in society raised and was equal to the highest in society, based on society's standards. That is a high ideal. So the question is, for you to really start to get connected to the big why, it's got to be more than this. It's got to be more than the tangible, the things that you want, the money, the things and all that. Well, those are wonderful experiences and they're benchmarks and they're moments to celebrate, of course. But if you stop there, as you all have already experienced, there is a sense of emptiness and unfulfillment, which was the whole hope of setting the goal in the first place. So the big why has to be something beyond you and something that is about more than you, more than your world. It's got to be something about a world that you will impact in a way that you will never even see the outcome from. One of the things I'm challenging the ALC to really look at is to set some targets, some goals for some things for us to do throughout this year. One of the ways I've encouraged them to do it is to set something off in the distance as an event, that everything that we do leading up between now and then would surround that event. And the event itself, it's not about the event, it's about the excuse for the event that it causes all kinds of things that could happen today and between here and there to happen. But the reason for having the event is to impact communities, is to impact vendors and livelihoods, is to impact your world in a significant way. In a significant way that will actually not be seen. We won't even get to really see the unfolding of this in truth, much like Gandhi didn't really get to see the unfolding of what it is he was looking to create. What that looks like yet, we're not sure. Trust me, I have a few ideas that I planted in them and I exploded them in terms of their minds, so I don't even know if they're ready to think about it yet. But in terms of even that specific idea, it was only a suggestion of one way to maybe approach it. But again, I'm going to continue to challenge them in our ALC meeting this coming February, which will be February 9th from 1 to 3. You're welcome to come participate in the conversation. Is really to continue that conversation of what can we put out there, and for the purpose of not that event or that thing, but what we can do with it within communities, within the merchants and the livelihoods of people, your livelihoods. And whether or not that turns out to be a huge success, whatever that is or not, is not the purpose. Because it's not to be an attainable goal. It's to foster and stir up something even greater for you. That might create energy, that might create excitement, that might create a reason to connect with people that has nothing to do with just how can I get more from you, but how can I connect, how can I contribute, how can I get you excited about life. That's what I'm challenging them to look at. So when we come to you with some ideas of what that looks like, I'm going to ask you to remember a higher goal beyond just what is doable, because if we're doing this right, you're going to sit back and say, that's not possible. And I'm going to say, exactly. That's why we're doing it. Because it's not possible. And here's the thing. When you set impossible dreams, there's something that lives and breathes within that then fuels you. It becomes a fire that comes alive. And every time you pay attention to it and stop thinking about whether you're accomplishing it or not, but are you taking steps towards it, it enlivens you, it invigorates you, and something emerges beyond what this could ever do for you. Because this, you know, is not going to create any excitement except for a moment. This, you want something larger so that it's bigger than you, that's from some source within you or connected to something greater, begins to feed you towards something. And that the adventure never ends. And your life thrives because you're headed on an adventure that is mysterious, unknown, unattainable, but will take you to places you would have never gone with just this. So my encouragement for you is to start to really consider, what is the unattainable for you? that you care about, that brings up passion for you. And when you say, I'll never be able to accomplish that, exactly. That's the one. That's the one. So with that, I leave you in contemplation, hopefully a little bit excited about what can be. Thank you, Anna, for showing us that even in a very difficult world, some major heights can be attained, nearly $15 million in production. That's not easy in good markets, to say the least. Many people can use the excuse that this economy is so hard and I cannot do it, it's not possible. Anna definitely has shown us that that's possible. Now you all, though, need to pay her back, which means you need to surpass her so she can see what's possible, so that she can start chasing you in the journey of what that looked like. If that means partnering up, then do that. If it takes 2 or 3 of you to have her chase you, then chase it. Let her chase you. Let her chase you. But thank you for that, and we want to create other opportunities to show you the next levels of possibility as well. But thank you to all of you, because you individually inspire in different levels. We looked at production here. Some of you inspire from the heart, which can be even more profound than any dollar amount on a page. So thank you to all of you. I love you all. So glad to be here with you. Have a great day.